game just gave me a notification to say we're now unbeaten in 39 Premier League matches. That's more than a year of the Premier League. I can only assume it gave me that notification because we're going to lose in the league today. Hello and welcome to part 212 of It's Coming Home. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have a Champions League game away against Slavia Prague and then a Premier League game away against Tottenham. Since you were last with me, our excellent start to the season has continued. You saw us win our first couple of games, but then we started winning with style. We thumped Man City. We thumped West Ham. I've done that the wrong way round, but I remember both matches. We also managed to beat Blackburn. This game against Blackburn was mad because Robert scored and then got sent off. He's exactly the kind of tough tackling, crunching midfielder we were looking for. I know his tackling's only 14, but he gets about a bit and kicks people hard, which is handy. We then won our first Champions League group game, and we've been handed a relatively easy Champions League group this season, in fact. I'd like to think that's a group we should be able to navigate our way through relatively easily. And then we did the usual Champions League hangover against Newcastle. Didn't lose, but also didn't win. Knocked West Ham out of the League Cup with a very rotated team, including debuts for young English goalkeeper Luke Keane, who's been dubbed the new James Powell. We signed him from Fulham 3.5 years ago now for £4.4 million. We have two very good young goalkeepers. Probably didn't need to sign that old man, the 25-year-old old man, in the summer, but also making his debut in that game was Kevin Crawford, who's a 21-year-old England under-21 international who we signed from Leeds a few years back. He's a centre-back and left-back and midfielder, again, with decent potential. So we've got a few more young players coming through, and excitingly, they're both English this time. And then we also beat Southampton as well. Carlos Augusto is having a very good start to the season. 4 goals from 5 games so far. I think he's right up there as one of the Premier League's top scorers. Let's just double check. He is the joint second Premier League top scorer for a player who's not actually started a game up front for us yet this season. It's a very similar story to what we had with Mira last year, when he was scoring lots of goals from out on that wing. And he's actually forced his way into the team on the wing, pushing Mira back up front and Thor out of the team. So this is the side for the Slavia Prague game. We've got Powell in goal, a back four of Kandemil, Juranovic, Lee and Meyer, Zupancic and Robert in midfield. You can see I've now changed Robert's position to central midfield on defend off the back of his red card, because I don't necessarily need him chasing around, getting 2 bookings, getting sent off. So that is his natural position, central midfielder on defend. So as long as he still gets tackles in there and acts defensively there, which he should, then that suits him better. It also suits Bogarski better when he's in the team. So Bogarski's played a couple of games in there. And then we've got Augusto, Mendes and Goff behind Mira up front. I have removed 2 of the transfer listed players from the transfer list and started to integrate them back into the squad again. They're not in the squad today, but Cristiano is off the transfer list. He could, if one of them wants to make an offer, I'll probably still sell him, but he's good enough to be in and around the squad. He doesn't need to be transfer listed. Likewise, Ben Young is off the transfer list. If someone wants to give us money for him, we'll take it. We're not actively pushing him out there. Costa, I still want rid of, although, I've still got him showing as not needed, but he's not showing as being on the transfer list. He is still on the transfer list. Or he should have been. I don't know why I took him off, or when I took him off. We're going to take his asking price away as well, and hopefully someone will come and take Robert Costa off us, because I don't see a situation where he plays a Premier League game, or any game at all for us really, this season. Right, let's get into this match against Slavia Prague. I'd like to think this is a game that we should win really rather comfortably. We should be much better than this team. I don't really... we've had some pretty big Champions League wins in the past, and I'd like to think this is the kind of opposition that we could have another very big win against. Right, here we go. Are we playing the 6 o'clock game again? Our first game we played in the 6 o'clock match as well. What is all this playing in the 6 o'clock match? Do English teams often do that? I assumed, I arrogantly assumed as an Englishman, I assumed that they got the foreign teams to play the 6 o'clock games sometimes, but they didn't make English teams play at 6 o'clock because it's inconvenient for us. And we like things to be convenient for us. I assume English teams do play 6 o'clock from time to time, but it's certainly whenever I've watched Champions League, which is rare, to see an English team play their first 2 Champions League games at 6 o'clock. That's unusual, surely. Goff very nearly managing to squeeze the ball past the Slavia Prague goalkeeper there. Slavia Prague are actually another one of these teams where we probably want to keep an eye on who their star players are, because they're just the kind of team that if they've got any teenagers in this side, they're the kind of team who are going to provide us with wonder kids relatively cheap. So if we do notice any stars in their midst, we'll nick them, because that's what we do against all of these Eastern European sides. Juranovic being a case in point. We get them relatively cheap, keep them in our under-23s for a few years, get them a Checker Trade Trophy medal, and then get them in the first team or sell them on for a profit. It's a lovely little business model. 20 minutes into this game, we're still not ahead. We should be winning by now. Goff with the corner, and it's headed clear, but only as far as Zupancic. Zupancic plays it back across to Goff again, who's tucking inside. Oh, he went onto his wrong foot. Robert finds Zupancic, back to Robert, and now Meyer on the overlap. It falls to Mendes. We're trying to fashion a chance from somewhere and not really getting anywhere with it. And now Slavia Prague are coming down that, our right-hand side, their left-hand side, but it's intercepted and the move is over. That's it. Highlight done. We've absolutely dominated that first 20 minutes or so. 71% possession. They've not had a shot. They've barely touched the football, but we still haven't scored. Mira, what a goal from Mira! Someone noticed actually in the last video, and I hadn't noticed it, Mira has now been upgraded to a club legend. He is the first player to make it onto the legends list. It's me and him who are the club legends at the moment. So when we do get our new ground, it'll be me and Mira fighting over who gets it named after them. I think it would be a little bit weird to name it after either the current manager or your current 25-year-old striker, but who knows? We'd obviously rename it anyway, but you know how the game works. It tends to name the ground after club legends. We now have 2, but they're both still very actively involved. So hopefully that rules us out, because it will be a little bit weird playing in the Bruno Eduardo Mira Stadium when he's still going to be playing for us for the next 10 years. Mendes now plays it forward, looking for Mira, and he picks up the ball quite deep, finds Augusto. Augusto out on the left-hand side. Cross comes in towards Goff, I think that was, and it's headed just over. We're making a bit of a meal of this. Still had 64% possession, 23 shots in that first half. Just the one wonder goal that was, it was an individual effort. There was no... you're capable of better. We haven't really created anything in the way of a good chance. That says we've had a clear-cut chance. I don't remember seeing it. The goal certainly wasn't a clear-cut chance. It was a moment of individual brilliance. Once again, Meyer having a good game, as you'd expect. And now Slavia Prague with an attack in a highlight. Kandemil heads clear and Mira picks the ball up, just about keeps hold of it and releases Meyer down this right-hand side again. He's got 3 players chasing him. Don't know what he's trying there. There's no one in the middle, so you can't really call it a cross. If it was a shot, it was terrible, and why would you be shooting from there anyway? And it's actually left us in trouble, and they've hit the post. That needs to be the wake-up call for us. In fact, let's show some passion off the back of that, because we should be 3 or 4 goals up in this match. We should be comfortably ahead, home and dry, and not having to stress out with half an hour to go that they're hitting the post. Meyer scores, 2nd goal of the season for him. It's Meyer's season. It's weird because Joksimovic is ready. I want to play him. I have played him. But how can I properly drop Meyer when he has responded to have... he's had... 3-4 seasons of not really having any competition down that right-hand side. He now has proper competition for places, and he has upped his game massively. I can't drop him in these circumstances, the way he's playing. Robert now to Mendes. Mendes to Mira. Mira loses out on the ball, and we are starting to think in terms of substitutions. We've obviously got Thor down on the bench. We've got a few other options as well. And we need to keep some players fresh for the Premier League at the weekend. Meyer with the cross finds Augusto. Augusto brings it down beautifully and hits the crossbar. That was lovely from Augusto. Still only 19 years old. He's ridiculous. Right, Goff can come off for Flager. Usual substitution. We're also going to bring Diarra on for Augusto. Thor can wait 10 minutes. There's no reason to bring Thor on just yet. Maya with the cross to Mira, who now hits the crossbar. We have rattled the frame of this goal a few times today, but then to be fair, they've rattled our goal as well. So if it was a rattling competition, I think we'd be narrowly ahead, just like we are in the football scoring competition. So we're relatively even in terms of football and rattling. Although the stats say we're not close to even, but we're just not being particularly prolific today, which I guess is the reason to get Thor on, because he'd have probably had a hat-trick today. Diarra's now hit the crossbar. My word. Mira's having a great game. I'm tempted to just take him off. Although, actually, that's silly. Let's get Slomer on. Get some game time into Slomer. Playing alongside Robert in the midfield. He's the only one of our central midfielders who's not got a grumpy on at the moment, other than Ribeiro, who I don't want him to jump the queue. He is now in the first team squad because he's done another Mick Powell. We've had more coach reports on him. I do think I probably need to stop holding him back at some point and just go with him. But he's... I worry that if I have him leapfrog Bogarski, that's going to push Bogarski over the edge and he'll leave. I don't want him to leave because I want him to be competing with Robert as the tackling midfielder, and then Ribeiro can compete with Zipancic for the other spot, and Slomer and Cristiano probably don't have a future with us. And Arsene Diaby, also only 19, needs to decide who he's going to try and compete with, or else he might be another one who misses out. Potentially a long-term replacement for Zipancic, but that is super long-term because Zipancic, I think, is only about 26 years old. Although he seems to have been 26 forever. He's 27 years old. So I don't think we need to be thinking in terms of replacement for him just yet. But Diaby is 8 years younger than him. So if Diaby can wait until he's 22, 23, like, to be fair, Slomer and Bogarski are now, then that'll be the time to replace Zipancic. But let's go and play Tottenham in the Premier League. Big old pile of rotation for the Tottenham game then, as we try to avoid the Champions League hangover and avoid picking up our first Premier League defeat in 40 games. So Powell keeps his place in goal. The majority of the rest of the team is changed though. Kandemil, in fact, still in at left back, with Hervé and Lee in middle, and Joksimovic at right back, Cristiano and Bogarski in midfield, Augusto, Mendes and Flager behind Thor up front. And look at the strength of that bench. Utterly ridiculous. In fact, rather than having Ben Young on the bench, where is he? Let's put my money where my mouth is. Get Ribeiro on the bench. And if the opportunity presents itself, we'll get him onto the pitch and have a little look at him. Yet to make his debut for us, I think. I don't remember him making it. Yet to make his debut for us. Spent last season out on loan. And he's done a Mick Powell, apparently. And he's now the fourth best central midfielder at the club. So we'll find out in this match if he's any good, unless we're losing, in which case we'll bring Robert on instead, because he's better. We just spent a lot of money on him. No Kevin Williamson for Tottenham. Does that mean he's finally done? Very, very sad if he is. We expect nothing but a win. Let's go get said win. Thor hasn't played for a couple of matches now. He's lost his place up front as a result of Mira moving up front to get Augusto into the team on the left-hand side. So Thor's going to feel like he's got something to prove today, I'm sure. And Mira is hovering down there on the bench ready to come on if Thor doesn't perform. But, you know, Thor is still Ballon d'Or. I love having the amount of players that we've got that are good. It's lovely. What a lovely problem to have. Cliche bingo. Why have Tottenham got the ball? Bogarski in there with the tackle. He's unhappy at the club because he feels like he's been replaced. But that's why I love him, because he gets those tackles in. I've kept him as a central midfielder on defend, which is the same instruction that we have Robert on, because it actually looks like it suits Bogarski as well. So rather than having him as the deep line playmaker that he did occasionally last year, or box to box that he did occasionally last year, just keep the team playing the same system. There's an argument we probably could have made him the box-to-box midfielder and made Cristiano a deep line playmaker, shift Mendes' role around a little bit, but I think it makes sense to keep the team playing the same way that is clearly working so far this season, and Bogarski does seem to fit into it in that role. The one man who doesn't really fit particularly well is Cristiano, but he's on his way out of the club anyway. Tottenham have just gone 1-0 up. It really is. That's why it's given us that media message, 39 games unbeaten, and it's now going to beat us. It's done it to spite me. Look how tired some of their players are. It's ridiculous. Right. Show some passion. Especially down the left-hand side. Augusto should be tearing their right back apart, who's on 66% conditioning. Just give the ball to Augusto and let him rip them in two. I'm tempted to get Diarra on. Have I got Diarra on the bench? I hope I've got Diarra on the bench. I need to double check. He needs to, if not, Mira on this left-hand side. Although, to be fair, there goes Augusto and forces the save, forces the corner. Wasn't really skinning the fullback because obviously he's on an inside forward instruction to cut inside. Have I got Diarra on the bench? No. This would have been the perfect opportunity to bring a flying winger on against that fullback. I think both fullbacks are tiring. So Flager needs to do his bit on that other side, or else Goff. But Goff's not really going to skin someone for pace if they're tired. Goff's not really about skinning people for pace. But we won't worry. They're so. Why are they all so tired? They must be playing Thursday night football, presumably. In which case, they should have a hangover too. We've got no excuse for being behind at half-time in this game. Gimme the shouting button. Where's me aggression? Aggressive. We've not been aggressive for ages. Show a bit of desire. Look at that. We've got them all fired up as we go into this second half. I don't know. It's been so long since we've been behind in a Premier League game. I don't know what we do. Mendes isn't playing well. Do we bring Mira on for him and try the 4-2-4 again? I said I wasn't ever going to mess around with again. In fact, when we've had Thor, Mira and Augusto on the pitch together, I've been playing Thor in behind Mira rather than alongside him to maintain the shape. And we're training Thor to be an attacking midfielder. So, I don't know. Obviously, if we're losing, the system isn't working today, so we have to change it. Oh, I don't like changing it when I know it works. But Mendes is having a poor game. We don't have Drame on the bench, and Mira is sat there. So it kind of is screaming, Kev, do the 4-2-4. But there is Thor. Scores his fourth goal of the season to make it 1-1 on 62 minutes. I mean, I say the system's not working. He changed his mind immediately when we score a goal. But in all seriousness, I say the system's not working. Looking at the stats, it obviously is. We've dominated the game. We've been the better team. We just hadn't scored. But now we have. And a draw is always fine off the back of a European match. Right, we're going to bring Mira on. We are going to do this change that I talked about. We stick him there doing that. Then we swap these two over. He can be box to box. He can be the deep lying playmaker. Actually, I'm going to make him an attacking midfielder because I don't want him on an attack instruction. We'll do that. That's what we've been doing as part of training Thor. Why have we only made one substitution? That's not like me at all. I want to bring Ribeiro on. I want to look at him, but in the circumstances, it seems like a bad idea because we're not winning. It would be as much as I want to show him to you. In these circumstances, we have to bring Robert on, surely, just to be the real top quality, world class standard central midfielder that we paid for. We can always bring Ribeiro on for Cristiano now, and I think we will. Is he a deep lying playmaker? See, I don't know anything about him. Put him back to that. I like a Mazzala. You do that. Actually, what kind of central midfielder? He's an attacking central midfielder. We need someone to act as the playmaker, though. So Thor's going to have to be our playmaker. I don't know how well he can do that role, but I guess we're about to find out. Unless we just... we need to have a playmaker. Let's go back to this. And then you can be this. He's not very good at doing that yet, is he? But keep the shape. Let's have 10 minutes of passion. Oh, if they score here, I'm going to be very upset because we could have stuck 2 up top. Right, now we go 2 up top. We stop messing around. We don't want a Premier League defeat. You do that. We're going to go attacking. It's probably too late, but do it now. Go on, disallow the goal, ref. Is he disallowing it? Oh, he has disallowed it. We'll keep the change anyway. We'll go for the win. We probably don't need to keep attacking on, but we'll keep the 2 of them up front. Augusto to Mira. Mira plays Thor in. Thor forces the save. Very close. Look, we fired them up. They like the tactical change, clearly. Thor to Augusto. Having all 3 of them on the pitch is awesome. Candyman with the cross. Mira's there and Mira scores. We're showing grit today. I like this. We're already so far clear at the top of the Premier League. It's ridiculous. We've got to win the Champions League this year. Ribeiro's involved. Not massively, but involved. And involved is nice. It's a lovely header from Mira. And we've got 5 more minutes. We probably do need to... Well, we lost 4 of them as I was trying to hit the pause button. I was going to drop Robert back and play the 4-3-3. I'm not sure how I was going to do it, but that was my plan. Thinking about it, I probably couldn't have done it. But the thought was there. It was a bit of a let-off. We have got away with it. But it's good that we're now capable of getting away with stuff like that. We'd have lost that game a year ago or 2 years ago. Outstanding striker is how Mira is now described. That is ridiculous. And also, just to show you this, because I mentioned it before, there's your confirmation. Mira is now a club legend and currently active players who might join him. Candemil is on his way through icons, but doesn't play very much at all anymore. Beron's obviously gone. Maya could make it on there. I think Maya and Candemil probably both should be on the list. And then on favoured personnel, we've got Flager, Lee, Aleth and Thor from the current players. Costa's there as well, but I doubt Costa will ever play another game for us. As far as tomorrow's episode goes, we are going to show you another Champions League game. I think we're probably going to do Monaco away. We've got the 2 Monaco games coming up next. I think the away one is likely to be the most interesting one, especially if we win the home one, because we could potentially qualify away at Monaco, and that would be lots of fun. So it'll be Monaco away plus either Leicester or West Brom, either side of it, in tomorrow's video. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos, and thank you very much for watching.